Statistic Canada released a new study today called Stretching the Loonie, a time series analysis of financial difficulties and quality of life. Surprise, surprise, it ain't good. My name is Nico Lagan, and I'm too conservative for the conservatives. My co-host Rob Ambrose, not woke enough for the liberals. We are political orphans. Now, let me address this from the get-go. Before we get into this, I need to warn you. The report called Stretching the Loonie that was just released by Statistic Canada was a massive pain in my bum. The numbers are so hard to understand that it took me literally 2 or 3 hours just to try to make sense of it. I had to use 3 different AIs to make sure I understood them properly, because as you'll see, they do everything possible to hide the facts to make it sound better than it actually is. And this is why I absolutely despise these types of reports. But I do what I do so that you don't have to, so that you guys can just hopefully trust me to do the work properly and then share the information with you. But to kind of prove my point, here is the new report that was released today. So this is breaking news from Statistic Canada. As I said, Stretching the Loonie, a time series analysis of financial difficulty and quality of life. This was released today. It's a comparison between numbers that we saw in 2021 and numbers that we saw last year. What were you going to ask?
What is this? Is this like a report?
Well, listen to what it says. Stretching the Loonie. That doesn't sell it for you? That doesn't tell you exactly what it's about? It's about the financial state of Canadians.
Yeah, it sounds like
good Canadians.
It sounds like the economy's in the shitter. So here's tips on how to be comfortable living as a peasant.
If only they gave tips and tricks. They don't even do that.
Okay.
All they do is try to share the numbers, but you're going to see that it doesn't look good. And it seems that they know it. It seems that they're fully aware. In my opinion, they're fully aware of what they're doing. And oh hell, it looks like I'm having problems with my YouTube channel.
Yeah,
that explains the numbers.
The zero?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that explains the numbers. So I'm not sure what is going on there. I just want to go check. And yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Thank you, Prairie, for letting us know. But it definitely looks. It's just not streaming.
That's weird.
It's not streaming whatsoever. Maybe I'm in trouble again. I've been in trouble on all single social media platform. So sometimes it's just the way that it is. But let me see. I'm just gonna run to the studio. Shit.
Yeah, because as Prairie says, everyone's waiting over there.
Yep. No, it definitely shows. It definitely shows that it's there, but it's not streaming live, so it did not connect whatsoever. Oh man, that breaks the momentum of a show. But hey, let's try that again. Hold on. Let's try that. Oh, I can do 2 things at once, man.
Okay.
I'm doing it as we speak right now. I just want to make sure everything looks good. I just added it. I just re-added it now, so hopefully that works now. What a pain. Well, you know what? Considering you're always late, they're gonna think we're starting on time.
No difference. It's no difference.
Yeah. See, even now, it's not streaming.
That's so weird.
It is not streaming whatsoever on my platform right now for some reason. That's there's always something. It's always a pain in the ass. Yeah, no, it definitely is not showing on my platform. Well, that is quite unfortunate. I can't, Prairie, you're saying restart. It doesn't work that way. I have to kill the whole stream and restart it on 8 different platforms. So I cannot, this is not possible to do, unfortunately, but this is interesting because it's a problem I've never had
Yeah, I
before on
never
my
ran into
YouTube
this before.
channel. No, outside of getting hacked, but yeah, I've
I
never
don't. I
had
don't think
that
it's.
before.
I don't think it's like a specific though to like a ban or in trouble or anything because then
No, I don't think
the
so.
political orphans would be having issues as well.
No, absolutely not. They're not connected whatsoever.
No, but it's the same content, right? Oh,
It doesn't matter.
unless you got in trouble for something, some content that was separate from
Ah,
the show.
you don't get in trouble. What we do here doesn't get me in trouble. This is pretty
Yes.
tame compared to the type of stuff I'm going to say on my content. I'm very controlled on what I say here. It's nothing like what I say all the time, day in, day out. But no, it seems like it's only showing as incoming. Ah, man, that kind of sucks because that really killed the momentum of the show. Me
Yeah.
troubleshooting this when I should be when we should actually be recording. Yeah, I unfortunately, from what I can tell, it just keeps on saying that it's oncoming, that it's oncoming. So there has to be a bug somewhere. But hey, you know what? It is what it is. What do you want me to do right now? There is nothing I can do. If there's a way to talk, yeah, because it's really just seeing at zero, which never happens. So
Yeah.
unf-
Yeah, Prairie, that'd be great if you could go leave a message on the channel.
yep, because I have no ways. I have absolutely no way of doing it. But this is very strange. I'm gonna take 2 seconds. I'm just gonna
Yep.
see if I can do it again.
Yep.
Because
It's
this is
worth
a
a shot.
massive. Yeah, it's just a massive pain in my bum. So I just want to make sure. Let me see here. Did that delete? Yep, so the live is deleted. Okay, let me see here. So
Oh, yeah, here's
everything.
Alvin trickling over from the other one. Yeah, we're having some problems with the Nico going
Yeah,
on.
uh,
But
it's see.
glad you made it over here, Alvin. We're just doing some troubleshooting here for a sec, and then we'll get to it.
It's very interesting because it will show, it will add the
Mm-hmm.
show,
Mm-hmm.
but it will not connect to it as if it was going live, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. So it's right now
It
it says it's on in the live viewers, but yeah, that says zero, which is normally never
which
does.
it just says like it literally just says right now that it's upcoming. So it's
Will,
not
what's going
it's
on?
like the
Will, for you on the political
what?
orphans, or are you on Nico's? We're starting to get some people trickle over.
Yeah, because it's still a big zero and there's no way I get zeros. Finally.
Got it?
Now it's showing. Yep, now it's showing that it's live. So hey, my apologies for all the people that have been waiting on this that I've been troubleshooting for like 8 minutes now. I apologize to every single one of you, but hey, here we are. It's Thursday. Shit happens, as we say. But let's get back into it. I will redo a small intro just so for the people that are joining us. Statistic Canada released a new study today called Stretching the Loonie. And surprise, surprise, it's not good. But before we get into it, I need to warn you this study, if you've ever read any type of studies from the government, they are painful to look at. And the reason why they're so painful is that they do everything possible to hide the truth. So they will use word salads. Surprise when you hear guys like Mark Carney. They use word salads, and you'll see. I'm going to show you how they present the numbers. It's very strange. It's something that I don't think I've ever seen before. They use
Okay.
percentage points instead of real percentage. They do things year
So
over year instead of doing it. Oh, it's because you have to dig, but I just want to show you, like, the report is a long one, but look how they present their information. Percentage of Canadians aged 15 years and older reporting financial difficulties. There's no number. Like on the side, you see 0 to 50, and then you have to understand what those mean. See how bad this is? Like, it's
yeah,
almost unreadable. You look at this and you try to understand and see. Look at this: percentage of Canadians aged 15 years and older reporting financial difficulties by selected age group 2021 to 2025. Like, what age group? Like, see how
well,
the numbers
so
are.
so the colors, I believe, is what they mean. So like the light blue is
Yep.
21 to 44. Yeah,
So
it's confusing for sure.
tell me in 2023, the 45 to 64, what was the percentage of Canadians age 15 or plus? See what I mean? Like, they did
Yeah,
not do
it's like 30 to
the
35%.
the whole report is like that. And even if you go through the numbers are not very direct. Like, they talk about proportions, they talk about 95% confidence interval, lower limit, upper limit, predictability. So you look at the numbers and you're like, what the hell are you talking about? And here's the resume. So here is the overview. Using data from the Canadian Social Survey, this study examines changes over time to self reported financial difficulties and associations between financial difficulties, age, and two well being indicators: life satisfaction and future outlook. Here's where it gets interesting. So basically, the next 20 minutes, we're going to break down those 3 paragraphs there to explain to you what they mean. So, first, the percentage of Canadians reporting financial difficulties steadily increased by 4.8 percentage point per year from 2021 to 2025, alongside decreases in the percentage of those reporting high life satisfaction, minus 2.2% point per year, and a hopefulness for the future, 2.4% point per year. Compared with older age group, younger adults aged 25 to 44 were increasingly likely to report that they experienced financial difficulties, 5.4% increase point per year. Meanwhile, the percentage reporting high life satisfaction decreased more than rapidly than for older age group, minus 4 percentage point per year. Younger adults aged 25 to 44 who also experience financial difficulties were less likely to report high life satisfaction and hope for the future, or experience greater decline during the past few years compared to older age groups. Did you understand anything that said?
No, I mean, usually these, I think a lot of these sorts of reports are designed to be pretty difficult to understand. I think, like you were saying, it's hard to read the exact numbers. Yeah, it is. But I think the important thing here is the trend, right? The point is
No. The numbers are no. The numbers are extremely important. What's important to understand here is that they're doing everything possible to confuse people. So we will go line by line every single number that they showed, and I will tell you what they mean in real life percentage. Because what they did is that they used something called percentage points, which is not percentages. And instead of using the report, it makes a difference between 2021 and 2025. So instead of saying, and I'm just throwing numbers out there, instead of saying 25 to 44 age group are 50% more in financial trouble in 2025 than they were in 2021, what they will say is there's been an increase of 5% year after year in the financial difficulties that 25 to 44 has experienced. They just don't want to put the numbers together, and they word things in a way that makes it hard to understand. So listen to the first one. So the first one was, as per Statistic Canada, the percentage reporting The percentage of Canadian reporting financial difficulties steadily increased by 4.8 percentage point per year from 2021 to 2025. So, you know what they mean by this? They mean that since 2021, Canadians reporting financial difficulties have more than doubled, going from 18.6% in 2021 to 39.4% in 2025. So they say that Canadians experience financial difficulties has increased by 4.8 percentage point year over year. But they're not saying what it was, what was the percentage of people struggling, what it is now, and what's the increase. See what I mean?
Hold on.
How they're fudging the
I'm not.
numbers?
Hold on, because I'm not sure I follow you.
I know.
But like no, but you said, well, you said the numbers there, did you not? You said it was 18% of people were struggling, and then it was 35%.
Those are the numbers I had to go and calculate because they do not indicate that anywhere in their fucking report.
Oh,
those are numbers, bro. If you think about it, so you have to go back and find what were the numbers they reported in 2021. Mm-hmm. Once you know what those numbers are, they say that it has increased by 4.8 percentage point per year. So you assume that 2021 to 2025, it's 4 years. They did an average of whatever the number was and divided it by 4.8, because you couldn't say 4.8% per year unless you averaged it, because if this year there's an increase of 4.8%, and next year there's an increase of 4.8%, that means that next year there's a 4.8% increase on 104% from last year. Do you know what I mean? So the numbers are not really 4.8% of the same numbers because they keep on increasing year over year. So you have to assume that those numbers are divided by the number of years. So 4.8% means that you take 4.8, you make times 4, and then they divide. That gives you the number increase between 2021 and 2025. But the point is that they say the percentages of Canadians reporting financial difficulties steadily increased by 4.8 percentage point per year from 2021 to 2025. Once you understand that in 2021, the Canadians reporting financial difficulties was 18.6% of Canadians reported.
It's called Stretching the Loonie, and who's is it? CRA?
No, Statistics Canada. Statistics Canada.
I'm gonna look this up as you're talking. Go ahead.
So basically what they reported today is that since 2021, the amount of Canadians that are reporting financial difficulties has more than doubled. It was 18.6% in 2021, and it increased to 39.4% last year. And I would argue that those numbers are worse now because the economy is way worse now than it was last year, right? Just food-wise, I think there's a difference of 5% in just food costs alone between last year. Then they say that alongside decreases in the percentage of those reporting high life satisfaction was negative 2.2 point per year, which translate in the percentage of those reporting high life satisfaction decreased by 2.2 percentage point, basically means that in 2021, 54% of Canadians reported high life satisfaction, as they were happy with their lives. In 2025, it was 46%. So this is all Canadians included. You'll see that when you start looking at the actual age groups, it's not good. So it decreased by almost 10% within 4 years. The percentage of Canadians who are hopeful for the future decreased by 2.4 percentage point per year. What this means is that in 2021, 65% of Canadians were hopeful. Last year, it was 56. So almost another 10%. It's almost the same numbers from the same drop. So 8% drop over the past 4 years. But here's where it's going to get interesting because the two groups that are hit the worst is 25 to 44. I don't think that surprises you, but this is the group that is hit the hardest by this study, or at least by this report. When they said that adults aged 25 to 44 reported an increase in experiencing financial difficulties by 5.4 percentage point per year. In 2021, 22% of Canadians aged 25 to 44 were struggling. Last year, it was 46.1%. It more than doubled in 4 years. In 4 years, we went from 22% to 46.1%. But see how it sounds better when you say, when adults aged 25 to 44 report an increase in experiencing financial difficulties by 5.4 percentage point per year, it doesn't sound that bad.
No, well, no. I mean, and we've talked about this before. There's ways you can lie with statistics. Like, technically, it's not actually a lie. Like,
it's not a lie.
The way that they've described it is not a lie.
Yep.
It is factual. However, it's kind of a lie because it's not really painting the picture that's actually there, right? They're not really saying 50% more people struggling have gone up by 50% or doubled in 4 years, which sounds much worse, right? So yes, I mean, the way they describe it is statistically accurate, but and I think this is what your main point is it's not really they're saying it in a way so as to make it sound much better than it actually is.
So basically it's two things, right? What they're doing, and it's pretty clever. Well, three things. One, if you read the way they say things, they use a lot of negative, as in people experiencing financial difficulties has increased. So they're saying financial difficulties, that's a negative, has increased a positive by plus 5.4% year over year. The people that are experiencing, they're not happy with their lives, has dropped by, see how negative, instead of just using the words. And they don't put, the two other things that they don't do is they don't tell us what the percentage of people was experiencing financial difficulties in the first place. So when they say 5.4%, let's say year over year, if it was 10%, it went from 10% to 30%. But in people's mind, 30% is not that bad, even though that it would be 3 times more. So they're hiding the increase in percentage. They're hiding where it started and where it is now. So again, perfect example. Adults aged 25 to 44 report an increase in experiencing financial difficulties by 5.4% point per year. The numbers, 22% of Canadians aged 25 to 44 were struggling last year. Were struggling in 2021. Last year was 46.1%. So it doubled. You went from having 1 out of 5 Canadians to 1 out of 2 Canadians. These are the numbers if you start looking at it.
Yeah, that's good to put it.
And this is why it took me so long to go through it. Because again, they also report the biggest decrease in high life satisfaction was experienced by the same age group, going down 4 percentage point a year. Again, doesn't sound that bad. In 2021, 50% of Canadians were satisfied with their lives. Last year, 35% of Canadians were satisfied. So basically, right now as we speak, and here's how it's clever the way that they put it. Because if you're saying that 35% of Canadians in the age group of 25 to 44 are satisfied with their life, you're kind of hiding the fact that 65% of Canadians that are 25 to 44 are dissatisfied with their lives.
That's obviously bad, right? I think the overall point is no matter which way you look at it, whatever metric you want to look at, things aren't going well. Things are not going well in Canada. Things are trending in the wrong direction. And this is all connected, right? Like, of course. If you're struggling financially, that's gonna, that's gonna affect your mental health. It's gonna affect your life satisfaction. It's gonna affect your happiness. And that's why this shit's so important, right? Why it's important for a government to, like, fucking. It's so frustrating that the liberal government just doesn't give a shit about the economy. You know what I mean? Like, they're so fucking, and it's frustrating because this is what decides elections these days. It's culture wars bullshit, right? It's all just fucking nonsense. And I'm like, who gives a fuck about someone's position on fucking gays or abortion or fucking whatever the fuck? Just get the economy going. Dig oil out of the ground. Dig fucking minerals out of the ground. That's all we got. That's literally all we got. And, Carney's over here. He just locked in a majority. So libs are in power until what? Fucking 2029, 2030.
No, they're going to be in power. They were elected in 2025. So yeah, so 2029 somewhere. It's like March 2029.
And it doesn't make any sense where as all the metrics, all the trends are pointing in the wrong direction, whether it's economics, whether it's happiness, whether it's mental health.
But that's not true. But that's not true. That's the whole point of the report. That is why I wanted to share this.
What do you mean?
Because you're trying to summarize what I'm saying without me finishing the report. You'll understand that I can prove to you why we are in the shitters like we are and why there's still people that vote for the Liberals. Because the numbers, again, don't lie. So we talked about the 25 to 4. I painted a picture as Canadians in general, right? The numbers don't look that bad. But when you start digging into it, so the 25 to 44 is bad. Now, if you compare it. So, as I said, 65% of Canadians age between 25 to 44 are dissatisfied with their lives. 61.5% of adults over the age of 65 are happy with their lives. So basically, people that are 65 plus are the polar opposite of the people that are 25 to 44. As many people are unhappy with their life in my age group, then boomers are happy with theirs. And this right there explains to you why we keep on seeing what we're seeing. Because one thing that the numbers show is that 65% of happiness for the baby boomers, for the people above 65, that number has not changed since 2021. The number has remained the same as per this report.
And it's exactly the analysis that we've been making all during the last election was the boomers, they don't realize the system works for them, right? They all the promises that were made, they were actually kept for them. They were told, go to school, get an education, buy a house cheap. The Canadian dream, if you want to call it that. And it worked.
Oh, yeah.
Most of them are 100%. Sitting on net worths of $1 million plus because they fucking bought a home 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when it was possible to do so, when rates were reasonable, when most people could get a job with even a generic Bachelor of Arts, a high-paying job. And the thing is that Canada is gone. That social contract has been broken. They don't realize it. The system still works for them. They're sitting pretty, right? They're all. Have you ever seen the chart of how much wealth is owned by each generation? It's crazy. Oh, yeah, it's not even close. It's like the boomers are like 70% of all wealth, and then Gen X, Z split the remaining 30%.
Let me take this one before I continue, because there's more numbers that we need to address in here. But Trevor is saying, can't shit on the boomers who built the city or towns we live in. Of course you can, because you don't get to build that and then sit back and allow the next generations to suffer because you refuse to accept the fact that Canada of today is not the Canada you grew up in. Yeah. They're literally living their lives right now on borrowed money that they will never have to pay back. This is the reality of boomers.
Have to pay it back.
And it's not, and chances are it's not even going to be me. It's going to be my son that's going to really pay the fucking price for what's happening right now. So as much as I agree with you, Trevor, that the boomers did build something, that doesn't mean that they're entitled to destroy the generations after because they refuse to see the reality. And I want to make something else very clear. I'm not saying that all boomers are the problem. And I'm not even saying that the boomers know what they're doing, because I've had that conversations with boomers.
Oh no, I
just
know
to say,
not.
hey,
I know they don't. I know they don't.
they're not sitting at home trying to find
Be
ways
like,
to shit.
yes,
No,
fuck those kids.
no,
No, they're not. I know they're not. That's what's
but
so
a
frustrating
lot
about it.
of
They
those
don't realize.
boomers, they just don't want to see it because it, you hear Hollywood types saying, oh, we should let everybody in, we should do this, we should give them all the things that they want, but don't get to my gated community because
Yeah.
it's protected.
They're
So
insulated.
they don't,
They're insulated from their own.
and that is
decisions.
that's the same thing that we're seeing with the boomers. And unfortunately, if you look at psychology and you understand psychology, the only way that boomers are going to understand what really happens is if they start hurting too. If they start turning around and overnight their house loses 50% or 70%, what happened in 2008
Oh no,
happens again.
That would wake them up.
Now,
That would wake them up.
now they would wake up. But I've coached people in the past. I've coached men in the past. And you know what I came to realize? Unless you're really hurting, unless you're at the bottom of the pit where you don't have a choice to change, where changing is easier than to continue doing what you're doing every day, you're never going to change. We're lazy by nature. The average person does not want to adapt unless they have to. And the boomers, unfortunately, the vast majority of them have not had to adapt the way the rest of Canada has adapted. And there's a statistic in there that actually kind of really bothered me, and it's the one right here. As of spring of 2025, 39% of Canadians aged 15 and older reported that their household found it difficult or very difficult to meet their financial needs. This percentage has more than doubled since the summer of 2021.
What's that age group?
It
what's
went
the age group there?
15 and older. So the teenagers that are old enough to understand,
the boomers, kids and grandkids,
the kids that are there seeing their parents struggle has gone from 2021. And guys, this was COVID time. 2021 was in the middle of fucking COVID. 19% of Canadians aged 15 and older saw their family struggle. In 2025, when most people don't even remember COVID, that number is 39%. It more than doubled in 4 years. More than doubled. And another thing to mention, it's not just the 25 to 44 that are struggling, because adults between the age of 45 and 64 are experiencing similar financial difficulties. Back in 2021, 19.5% of them struggled financially, when last year it doubled to 40.4%. So just the facts. Last year, 39% of Canadians aged 15 or older reported that their household found it difficult or very difficult to meet their financial needs. Almost half of 25 to 44 age group were struggling financially. The same was true for over 40% of the 45 to 65 age group. Altogether in 2025, 40% of Canadians were struggling financially.
Yeah, essentially, it's a tale of two Canadas, right? There's the 60 plus group and the 60 below 60 group, and we're not inhabiting the same reality. We live in completely different spaces.
Yep.
And Alvin says, a little harsher than I might say, but he says he's correct here. He says, "Fuck you, old people. They're the majority voting bloc." And the thing is you can't overstate the importance of that. They are the majority voting bloc. not just their numbers, but also they vote in larger amounts. And we went over this a lot during the election. They are the only reason why Carney won. Every other demographic was either small or large conservative majority. It's only the boomers who saved him. And there's just, that really rubs me the wrong way. Look, I get democracy and all, but something is wrong when the people who are not going to be here 20 plus years from now are making the decisions for everyone else who will, and we're fucking screaming at them. Mom, dad, grandpa, grandma, fucking give us a break here. Stop voting for these fucking idiots. Stop voting for these morons who are more interested in policing your tweets and your online speech than they are in digging fucking oil and minerals out of the ground so we could actually maybe have a future, so we could maybe have an economy. I cannot fucking believe how bad our economy is. 1% growth in 10 years, that is unfucking heard of. And you don't even hear about it. It's literally unheard of. Most boomers don't even know it. My parents were shocked when I showed them that chart that we always show, right? With Trudeau's
with Trudeau.
They're like, oh, wow, I didn't realize the economy was so bad. Yes, I know you don't, because you're insulated from it. Everyone else realizes it.
They are the biggest voting group. They're the one with the most wealth. And they keep on voting for the same party that gave them what they have. Because that's the thing, right? If you don't understand the numbers and you have two parties, and I'm not saying that the conservatives are doing that because they did a terrible job at that, but let's say you had two parties, one that's telling you we're going to continue things as they go right now. We're going to make sure your house keeps going up in price. We're going to make sure that your pension is protected. We're going to make sure to take care of you for the rest of your life like we've been doing for the past 60 years, 65 years, 70 years.
Protect the value of your home and blah, blah, blah.
And then you have a guy on the other side that's saying, well, we have to cut benefits. We're going to have to make sure to build more houses. But unfortunately for you guys, it's going to drop the value of yours because there's going to be more inventory, less demand, less people are going to fight for it. But that means that we are going to have Canadians back to work. We're going to revamp our economy. But that means that your house is going to take a hit. The more inventory, the less your house is worth. That's a fact. So, but they don't want that. They will never vote for a group that says, hey, vote for us. We're going to make sure you lose money.
But the thing about you're right. That's exactly why it works. But it's frustrating because the thing about like the housing price thing is, yes, if you're already existing homeowner, if housing prices collapse, that would be really bad. But it's really fucking good for everyone else who's trying to get into home ownership, right? Like homeowners have been basically all the policies have been geared towards them for the last 20 years. And okay, that's fine. It is what it is. But at some point, you got to turn it around now. You got to give the non-homeowners a chance to get into the market. And they aren't. I think Trevor makes a great point here because I really agree with this. He says the ones we should blame are the global news, CBC, CTV media. That's who to blame. I would say just the media in general. Because here's the thing: is like I was just saying, if this were conservatives who were in power for the last 10 years, all you would hear about is 1% GDP growth in 10 years. You know what I mean? So the fact is that people don't. I mean, there's a lot of blame to go around. Yes, you can blame the boomers for still watching MSN and not getting their news sources elsewhere. But the fact of the matter is the media is not reporting the facts that Canadians need to know in order to make informed decisions. And that's that's their entire fucking job. They literally had one job and they fucked it up.
Well, okay, we're going to disagree on a couple of things here. It is not... You cannot blame mainstream media for you being lazy. That you can't. You can't do that. Nothing is ever going to change if the responsibility is being thrown at other people. It's like me saying that McDonald made me fat because
Yeah,
McDonald doesn't. So I get your point, and you
go ahead.
you know that you know as well as I do that I do not believe in funding media. I don't think that government should fund any media whatsoever. Zero. Fuck them all. I was very clear with Sylvain Charlebois when he came on the show, the food professor, this week. Him and I completely disagree on that one. Don't fund it. Zero. You want to make things fair? Don't fund it. If they can't survive on their own, that means people don't watch, people don't care, their message doesn't resonate with people. That's their problem. That's my first take on media. But at the same time, man, it is still your responsibility as a Canadian to inform yourself. Because even I still follow mainstream media, not because I believe what they're saying, because I want to know what they're saying. And then I go on independent media and I see what they're talking about and what they're covering and what are they saying. But I don't trust any of them. That's why I spend hours every day doing my own research and looking at the numbers myself and not wait for other people to do it. I'm not saying that people have 4 hours a day, 5 hours a day to do what I do, but at the same time, man, it is our responsibility to get educated, especially at this point. Let's be 100% honest with each other here. How many people in their families did what you did and went to see the boomers, their parents, their grandparents, and say, hey, you know, there's a problem. That this is not the world. Canada is not the world you live in. I cannot have one full-time job and still be able to pay for everything. Like, it is not the reality you guys had where the father could work a normal job, nothing crazy, just work a normal job. They could afford a house, buy a couple of cars. Wife could stay home, raise the kids. It was fine. Remember the numbers? 97% of Canadian salaries, the average Canadian has spent 97% of their salary after tax, lodging, insurance, transportation, cell phone, internet, and they don't even have kids in school yet. Those are the reality. I did the calculation myself because, again, they don't show you that, but 42.3% of our salaries go to taxes. Right then and there. You know, a number that you hear 42.3%, you're whatever. That means that you work January, February, March, April, and May, plus a portion of June before you start making money. That's the reality, bro. You work 5 months out of the year for literally almost 5 months out of the year for nothing. It's insane. That's what it means to be taxed at 42.3%.
Yeah. No, and I understand what you're saying. Like, yes, at the end of the day, it is people's responsibility to educate themselves. I'm just talking about the difference. Like, in the real world, we know that they're not, right? We know that they're not. Now we can sit here all day and be like, and shake our fists at them and say, educate yourself. But we know that they're not. Most people are lazy, as you said. And if you're just looking for solutions, it will be much easier to. The choke point for this issue, I believe, is in the media, is in just media getting back to doing what it's supposed to be doing, informing people of the news. That is their job. That is what they're supposed to do. And at this point, they don't even have any trust anymore. So it's not even like, it's not even like it would do anything if they did. So I don't know. I guess we're all just fucked, right?
No, we're not. There's okay. This is one thing. I hear this every single day, and I see this comment day and day, time and time again. It actually hurts my heart to see that, to hear Canadians just say we're screwed, we're doomed, we're done. What's the point then if that's the case? Because if there's one thing I've learned, man, I've been at the bottom of the barrel many times in my life. It's just a matter of, is the road back gonna be hard? Yes, but you always have to believe that it's possible. Always, because I've rebuilt myself many times in my life. So it's always possible. Now, is the road going to be hard? Oh, fuck yeah. But unfortunately, similar to what you're saying, and this is why I'm going to kind of agree with what you're saying, not for the same reason, but it starts with education. And that's all that we can do right now. Yeah. Because it wasn't overnight that we ended up with the economy that we have right now. This is something that's been going on, not just for 10 years, that's been going on for decades, what we're seeing today. This is something that you could have predicted. People have predicted this decades ago that if we're not careful, this is where we're going to end up. So people have seen what the potential future was. But it's never too late if you really want to put in the work, but it starts with education. You have to show to the people that vote, to the people that should know what they should know.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
this is why I do what I do every day, man, because at the end of the day, you need to believe that it's possible to educate people. If I was able to get away from my past lives and do what I've done, you have to understand that it's possible. It's just,
yeah,
what is it going to need? What is it going to happen in order to have that reality check in? A lot of people woke up during COVID as to what the government does. A lot of people didn't know until COVID. Some people woke up like you with the LGBTQ. You can cut people's penises off and you become a woman. Yeah, no, that's
yeah,
not how it works. But the boomers, unfortunately, are going to have, the only way that they're going to wake up is when they look at their bank account and they start to realize that that
and I
their
don't.
equity that they think they have in their house is no longer accurate.
Yeah, and I
That
don't
they
think.
have an upside down mortgage. Oh shit, I just refinanced my house to buy a cottage and to go on trips, and now I just realized that I owe
Well,
more to the bank than what my house is worth. The reality that a lot of people faced in 2008 in the US, because in Canada we were fine. Well, we were a lot better at least.
yeah, I mean, and I think we're mostly on the same page here. I just want to take a Trevor comment from Trevor. It says it's not the boomers' fault. Criminals are robbing us. We're just looking to blame one. And yeah, I think you're right here. Like, yeah, obviously I'm venting a little bit. I'm not blaming the boomers. The boomers are not the ones who created this mess. It's just a little frustrating, I think, because you sort of expect it from the fucking government, right? You expect to get fucked over. You don't expect it from your parents and your grandparents, right? You expect them, if the entire fucking country, the economy is going down the tubes, and those of us that are going to be here 30, 40 years from now are just being saddled with enormous debt. No, it's not their fault, but again, you expect it from the government. You sort of hope that your parents and your grandparents will notice, oh shit, my kids are struggling. My grandson, what's the world going to be like for him? Yeah, this works for me. This system works for me, but does it work for them? It feels like they sort of, they were promised the Canadian dream, and for the most part, those promises were kept. They climbed the ladder, and then they kind of pulled it up behind them. But you're right; it's not their fault. It's not, they're not the ones doing this. As Nico said, most of them don't realize it. Like, I use my parents
No.
as a sort of typical boomer. They just don't know. They watch mainstream media. They don't use social media. They don't use technology the way that most other people do. So they're just not exposed to it. It's not like, boomers don't care about their grandkids. They're incurious, and it's a little frustrating, again, just because you expect it from the government. You don't really expect it from the grandparents.
But we still got to be careful, because I'm not blaming everything on them, as in they're responsible for what the government does,
No, of course not.
right? But they're enabling them. That's the thing. By not knowing better, they continue keeping people in power that are destroying Canada, because they are not being hurt the way every single age group outside of them. And this is what I make sure to speak about: teenagers. I made sure to talk about 25 to 44. I made sure to talk about 45 to 64, because every single other age group that is actually working, that can understand money, is hurt right now. It
Yeah,
has doubled. Literally every single group's financial struggles has doubled over the past 4 years. It's insane. 4 years.
it's
We're
crazy.
not talking decades here. We're talking from mid-COVID, when shit was hard, when the world was on fucking lockdowns. And in 2025, it's twice as bad than it was during fucking lockdowns. This is the reality. This is why those numbers are so messed up. I should have went back to compared it to 2018 to see how much worse it was, because those numbers were bad in 2021 compared to 2018. And I guarantee you, I don't know why I didn't think of this. Why did they do a 4-year report? Who the fuck does a 4-year report? Why not a 5? Why not a 10? Why a 4 years report? Because I guarantee you that the reason that they did a 4-year report is that if they started going at the beginning of 2020 before COVID, or before we saw the financial struggles of COVID, before our economy was done, before we were on lockdowns, it's probably more 3 times worse. I don't know. Those numbers, I don't know. I should have looked. I don't know why I didn't think about this. But I guarantee you that's why they did 4 years and not 5 years, because those numbers would have been bad. Really bad.
Yeah. And also, the overall numbers are bad. But yeah, if you look back at those charts that we looked at the beginning of the show, the trend is right. We're all going in that direction, and it's not the good direction. And so we gotta, shit has to change. We have to turn it around. I do still think voting matters. I do still think we can vote our way out of this, but it's got to happen. Like at some point, if we just it's certainly not going to happen for the next 3 years at least. And I guess it's kind of fucked up, but probably the best case scenario is shit gets really bad in the next 3 years, and then finally people kick these clowns out. I can't fucking believe it, man. 1% economic growth in 10 years, or GDP growth in 10 years is unbelievable. Meanwhile, our population has gone up by what? Fucking 10% or 20% or whatever it was. So we've got,
it's 33% in the last 25 years.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got the exact same slice of pie. We haven't grown the pie at all, but we're feeding 30% more mouths. Like that's like that. It's tangible. You can feel that things are not as good as they used to be, right? You can feel it when you try to get a doctor. You can feel it when you fucking do your taxes. You can feel it when when you look at grocery prices.
Just go to the grocery store.
Everywhere you look, you can feel it, right? There's something really wrong here, and the fix is not that difficult. It just takes political courage. It just takes a political will to do it.
But it's not going to be a political solution. So before I address one of the questions, I want to take this one here. Ed, thank you very much for the tip. It doesn't matter who you vote for. Stop blaming each other, i.e. boomers. Wake up and stop talking like morons. Man, I understand what you're saying, but you have to wake people up, and the only way you wake people up is by proving to them that they're wrong.
Yeah, you got to talk about it.
And I don't know how many times I've said that they're not doing this on purpose. The boomers are not out there trying to figure out every day how to hurt Canada. They're just ignorant. They just do not see the reality because it doesn't impact them. They're not the government doing this. The government's to blame. The people that we keep on electing or selecting are the problem. But we still enable them. We still enable them to do what they do. We have to take massive part of the problem. We have to understand that we are to blame for this too. Because if you have a bunch of morons in your house and you choose to let them stay, that's on you. Are you the moron? No. But you're enabling that moron. So you are to blame too. We keep those morons in power. And this is where I'm going to address this. Guido is saying, Nico, what can we do to stand up just like Ireland did? Oh, man, I wanted to cover a bit of this, but it's not good, bro. I need to do more research to make sure that the information that I'm getting is right. But basically, there's a similar to the trucker convoy, like the farmers had enough and they're blocking streets all over the place. They're literally similar to what happened during the trucker convoy.
Okay.
and they're complaining about gas prices. But I'm ready to bet. I follow Ireland and what's going on over there, and I'm ready to bet. And
They're
that's the
getting
part. This is
immigration.
my opinion. But thank you. This is
Yeah.
my. I did not confirm this. I know that the media is reporting on the gas inflation, how much it has increased over the past month. We've talked about this on this show, how bad it's been. It's literally 30% average in Canada that it has increased over in a month. But we produce 80% of the gas we use comes from Canada. So imagine when it doesn't, like Ireland, for example. But I know that there's a part of immigration. They're not talking about this, but
Absolutely.
I follow a lot of people in Ireland, and those people are mad.
Oh,
Like the
furious.
white people from Ireland are pissed, are
It is way
really
worse
pissed.
even than here, right? We have our own sort of immigration issues, but it
Well,
is
it's
really
literally an
bad there.
island, right?
Yeah.
It's literally an island. It's a small island, and imagine what happened to the UK. It's happening to a small island. You can't hide it.
No,
You
no, no, no.
cannot hide from
And
it.
and Ireland's not big. It's only 4 million, right? There's only 4 million Irish, right? So it doesn't take
That's
much.
insane.
That's
No.
crazy, right? That's like smaller than Toronto. Like for the most part, our immigration problems are more just, in my opinion, to do with just the sheer numbers of it and just too many too fast. But I don't really have a huge issue with the act. Like, it's obviously a lot of Indians, but like most of the Indians that I interact with day to day are fine people. I don't have an issue, but they have this massive immigration issue over there. But they're like Syrians and Afghans who are just fucking raping the shit out of their daughters, their fucking wives, their girlfriends. It's fun. It's a fundamentally different situation over there. Immigration is it's bad here. Like policy is bad. It's leading to bad outcomes. But over there, like the Irish are the actual Irish are fucking fed up with it, man. That is ground zero. Just the UK in general for this replacement theory, like mass migration. That all those videos that we see of grandmothers getting arrested, 60-year-old men getting arrested at 2 a.m. for social media posts. Most of them are just criticizing immigration. That's it. And the government knows they need to crack down on this because shit's going to get out of hand. But they have no way to control it. It will get out of hand, and it looks like it is getting out of hand.
I was just watching a video of this Canadian that is a police chief over there. I believe her
Yep.
title was a police chief. And
Okay.
she's basically repeating what the government were saying during the Freedom Convoy. This is illegal. You can't do this. We're going to have to crack down. Like the speech is very similar. And the fact that she's Canadian, she's a Canadian immigrant in Ireland. You should see some of the posts are apologizing. Hey, people from Ireland, we're sorry. We're sorry we're doing that to you. And those are Canadians talking. But the thing is I want to address this. So Guido's asking Nico, what can we do to stand up just like the Irish is doing? This is where you need to be very, very careful because I study history. I've read a lot about this because I've been asking myself those questions for a long time. There's a lot of things that you can do, but how far are you ready to go? What type of people are you? We are not, let's be real for a second here. We are not Americans that believe in the free speech and the First and Second Amendment. We did not fight a war of independence that we won. And this is my biggest problem that I have with most Canadians. And I believe that this is why we're so complacent, because we lost our war of independence. We are still under British rule. We can argue about the power that they have, blah, 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 but we did not win a war of independence. And we are not taught from a young age that it mattered. Like I spent a lot of time in the South, bro, from California all the way to like North Carolina. And one thing's for sure, the guys are born knowing that they won. They know this. The people in the South and the people in the North, like split the US in two at about Virginia. Everything that's North is very much like Canada. Like very, very close. Like the mentality is very similar to Canada. South, hey bro, it's like changing to almost a different country. People, the rednecks, the farm boys, the dudes, the men down there, they are taught that they won their war of independence. This is something that they're very proud of. There's a good reason why most military men in the US are from the South. They're not from the northern portions of the US. But we don't have that
Oh
instinct
yeah, no,
here
they
in
think they
Canada.
won. They think they won. Eh? They think they won the Civil War. Is that
What do you mean? Oh,
like
the North?
you
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about the Southerners, like in the
No, no,
States?
no. No, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm
Oh, I
saying
thought.
is
Okay, I
that
thought.
they won the war of independence when they separated from the UK, when they separated
Oh,
from
American
England.
America. Yeah, I got you.
I'm talking about the founding fathers and America being born. I'm not talking about
The
the
Civil War.
war that was based in shit. I can see his name with the president. Man, I'm drawing a
Lincoln.
blank.
Abraham.
Lincoln. Thank you. I'm not talking about that part. I'm talking about the War of Independence that created the United States Constitution. But we don't have that in Canada. But so all to say that there's different ways for you to fight back against your government, but it is not that complicated. What we need is organization. Like here's an idea. I've talked about this before. If I continue talking about it, this is gonna get me in trouble. But something I came up with years ago that I've done personally for years: don't pay your taxes. Just say no. Just don't pay your taxes. Just because, when I say don't pay your taxes, I'm saying don't file your taxes, because most people
Yeah.
are garnished at the source, right? But don't file. Your taxes are paid. Most Canadians pay the tax right there. And they don't owe, they might have money coming back to them. They might owe a little bit, but they're not like 30, 40, $50,000 in the hole that they owe the government. So it's pretty kiff, right? But don't file your taxes. We're right in the middle right now. You want to piss off the government? You want them to start listening to you? Don't don't file your taxes. Stop working for a week. Just say no. I'm going to stay home. I'm not going to drive the economy anymore. I'm just going to stay home. Let's see what happens. During COVID, you know what I did during COVID? I lived my fucking life. I didn't care. I went where I wanted to go. I lived in the woods because I couldn't take all the idiots walking around. Sorry, I shouldn't call them idiots. I couldn't take the people walking alone in the street with masks on. So I had to leave society. But I got a old school flip phone that could not track me GPS, and I went all over the place, man. I still did what I wanted to do when I felt like doing it. And this is no different. If our government is passing bills like Bill C9, for example, that just passed, that want to crack down on free speech, don't stop talking. Do like that woman we had on the show. Police shows up to your house, give them the finger. Tell them to fuck off. Shame them. Record them. Put their videos online. Send me those videos. I will happily share them to my hundreds of thousands of followers. You want to film the police coming to your house for a tweet? Fucking send it to me. I'll create really good content. I'll be happy to share it all over the place. But shame those people. You don't need to be violent in order to stand up to your government. Just stop working. Don't file your taxes. When they tell you to do something, don't do it. You need to be locked down at home. Okay, cool. Hey guys, I'm organizing a party on my street. I'm gonna go talk to all my neighbors and the people in the next neighborhood. One guy does the same thing, and we're just having massive block parties. What are they gonna do? You think that the small amount of police officers that we have are gonna be able to show up everywhere? No. We're a lot more than they are. We just need to remember that. You know that meme where you have a bunch of people on their knees and there's a chessboard on their back, and you see a bunch of elitists playing chess on the board that is held. What do they have to do? All decide at the same time, hey guys, let's stand up. We're done with this. So there's ways, bro. There's ways, Guido. It's just Canadians need to have the courage to just say no.
I'm reading here about this thing in because I wasn't too I had heard a little bit.
I wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, maybe
about Ireland you're talking about?
Yeah. But man, it sounds so much like the Freedom Convoy. At least
it is
the way the Irish government is responding to it. I'm reading some of these comments here from the Justice Minister. Says there will be legal consequences for the protest. He says he expects insurance coverage to become void as a result of. So they're gonna make people's insurance illegal. So essentially the same move as freezing the bank accounts, right? Except now they're gonna make your insurance legal. But it's just crazy how. What a difference when the protest is a left-wing protest. Remember all the Just Stop Oil protests? All they do is blockade shit. They blockade stuff, and they get police protection. People who are just trying to get to work and trying to get around them will run over someone's foot. They get charged with assault. Nothing ever comes to these guys. But now there's some protest that isn't a left-wing protest. I didn't even want to call it a right-wing protest or a conservative protest, because it's not. It's just a common sense protest. It's an anger protest, but it's not an approved protest, and they fucking drop the hammer as soon as it starts. It's ridiculous.
You know, this is a great point that you made there, and this is worth highlighting too. Guido, one of the things that we need to do is obviously to be able to have those hard conversations like the one when we're blaming the boomers. Again, we're not blaming them. We're not saying that they're doing it on purpose. They just don't know any better. But it is our job. You know, Jason Levine said that, go hug a liberal.
Yeah.
As a conservative, go hug a liberal. Because it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the truth in the matter is that they keep us divided on purpose. The same government that you vote for keep us at each other's throats so that we don't focus on what's really happening, because we would look at each other and say, oh shit, bro. Just like you and I do. We disagree on a lot of things. We disagree on solutions, but we rarely disagree that there's a problem. We rarely disagree on the problem itself, but where we disagree is really what should we do to make it better. But this is not what they teach you. Because again, I've traveled a lot over the past 4 years, jumped in an RV, and I've done coast to coast to coast. I've been all the way to BC. I have the chance to speak to people every day. And one thing that I notice is that when you drop that liberal versus conservative crap, you start to understand that we're a lot more alike than we think we are. And if you look at the bell curve, about 65 to 70% of people sit somewhere in the middle. Then you have the 15% extreme, 10 to 15% extreme on each side. That's all we hear. And obviously media uses that to their advantage. But the point is that 65-ish to 70% of people are somewhere in the middle.
Yep.
Maybe in the middle, maybe a bit right, maybe a bit left. But we do agree that it's not complicated. At the end of the day, what do Canadians want? They want to be able to make enough money to have a comfortable life, to be able to buy themselves cool stuff, to be able to put their kids through school, to have a house, a couple of cars, and just have enough money at the end of the month to be able to do stuff with the people that they love. To feel that they're getting paid a fair amount for their work, and they have enough time to relax and enjoy themselves, enjoy their families. It's really, and does it matter that you're a leftist or a rightist? No, because we pretty much all want the same thing at the end of the day. And those are the conversations we need to be able to have, which is how this show started. And now we're 292 episodes in, bro.
Is it really? That's fucking crazy.
As of today, 292 episode. And it all started with a conservative like me reaching out to a liberal like Rob, asking him if he wanted to do this. This is really all it started. And imagine if we went out of our ways to speak to people that we don't agree with. And that applies to every single person in this comment section. Is you want to help change Canada? Talk to people you disagree with. Talk to people that don't agree with you either. And just sit down and have those conversations.
Yeah.
It's really that simple. It's not easy. It ain't easy, believe me, but it's simple.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's great advice. I think you're bang on, and it's probably a good note to end the show on. Is there anything you want to add before we put a pin in her?
This episode of the Political Orphans has been brought to you by Miss Cleo's Pet Treats.
Oh yes, of course.
100% natural, healthy dog treats, free from preservative, additives, and fillers, made by a handwriter in Canada. Not only are the treats handmade, but the meat she uses is 100% locally sourced from farms in Manitoba. So none of that nasty Chinese meat. So if you know that your dog deserves better, go to cleoscookiesandtreats.ca and use the discount code Political Orphans to get 20% off your entire purchase. Obviously, you did not write down what I just said, so look in the description below. The link is there. The discount code is there. And I gotta tell you, man, I give that stuff to my dog every day, and she fucking loves it. It's so annoying that there's a second refrigerator in the basement that's behind a door. Every time you use it, you open that door, she's right next to you. Has nothing to do with her, but she needs treats, so check it out.
She's a greedy bitch.
She's a German Shepherd,
yes.
Yep.
Yeah, nice. Hold on, I did want to take this quick comment before we go from ivermectin. $20 says Rob has Drewski content and is recently viewed. What does this even mean? Do you mean Drewski, the black guy, like the social media guy who does? I don't know. He just did like the Erica Kirk thing. He did whiteface, and I don't know. I don't. Is that where where are you going with this? So clearly, you're trying to burn me in some way, but I'm not really sure how. But
that thing is, I've never watched a skit. I did not know who that guy was.
It comes across like I never actually watch him, but it comes across my feed once in a while. It seems actually kind of funny.
I think that's what he's saying. So you're basically proving ivermectin's point. I think he was kind of saying that you watch his content. So, ivermectin, you were bang on, bro.
I watch it when it comes across my feed, just like I watch anything that comes across my feed.
It never comes to my feed.
Oh, yeah. I don't really get the burn. He's kind of funny.
But the whole thing is hypocritical on both sides of the aisle. No, but both sides are actually really hypocritical on it, and it's hilarious. To me, because you have the comedian that's a black guy that was able to dress up as whiteface and make comedy. Forget who he made it about. Forget that. That doesn't even matter. If a comedian today went blackface, it would be an outrage. It would be an absolute outrage if a white comedian would do the blackface. So you can't have different rules for like if it's either bad, it's all bad, or you can do it. Personally, I don't think it's a big deal one way or the other. But if you're gonna say that you can't do blackface, then you shouldn't be able to do whiteface either. I agree. Fair is fair, but that's the irony of him just saying, "What do you mean? What's the big problem with what I did?" Okay, bro, let's be honest for a second here. A white comedian wouldn't be able to do the same thing. You got away with shit that white comedians can't do. Now, that being said, do I have a problem with what he did? No, I think it's fucking hilarious. If I was a comedian, I'd fucking do a blackface. I don't give a fuck. What the fuck are they gonna do? Hurt me? They're gonna cancel me? Well, fuck you. I don't care. They can fuck they can suck on it.
I think
but it's hilarious that
I think one of those...
the black guy is no, but hold on. The black guy is hypocritical, saying that he's acting like it doesn't matter, bro. It does matter, because a white comedian can do the same thing. But where I think it's also hilarious is that Erica Kirk is acting all butthurt because somebody made fun of her. Hey, bitch, you forgave the guy that killed your husband, but you're butthurt about a comedian that's hurting your feelings. Like, this is hilarious to me. Just that. Oh, yeah. She's outraged. She asked Elon Musk. She forgave him within weeks after. She made a big speech. Donald Trump was there, if I'm not mistaken. And she gave a massive speech saying, "I forgive you." And now she's butthurt, asking Elon Musk to take the tweet down. Even JD Vance had something to say about this. This is so ironical. That's people hilarious. That got canceled during Biden's administration, that were all outraged at saying that since freedom of speech is everything, are now trying to censor, just like Biden did during his administration. It's hilarious. To me, it's absolutely hilarious, and it just shows how political parties really don't matter at all. They're all the same. You're voting for the guy you hate worse, but at the end of the day, there's no difference. You're still voting for the same type of people. It's hilarious. That whole thing is funny. But I want a guy like what's the name of the Matt? There's a comedian I actually
Rife? Matt Rife.
Matt Rife. The day after, he posted something and he kind of alluded to the blackface. He kind of said, this kid was hilarious, but that should be acceptable for anybody that does it. I'm paraphrasing, right? But I wish a guy like him with the spotlight that he did just showed up in blackface. I would laugh my ass off.
What could you say?
You know what should happen? Dave Chappelle should bring back the white faces that he made all the time, and he should do a skit. He should do a skit with a white comedian in blackface, and they should make fun of each other. Thank you. You're welcome, Dave Chappelle.
Yeah,
that's a great idea.
I like when Dave Chappelle does the white guy.
He's very good at it.
I remember there was one skit where it was like trading spaces, where like the fathers go and visit, or like the father in each family goes to live with the other one, and
with the other wife.
He's a white guy, and he goes to live with the black family, and the kid's like, fuck, what was he say? He's like, hey, are you Mr. D's? And he's like, Mr. D's. And he goes, these nuts, and he's like, oh, it was just so funny, man. He plays it so well, the white guy.
Oh, I'm a fan. I've always been a fan of Dave Chappelle. I don't agree with a lot of his politics, but I'm a fan. I've always liked that guy. But imagine a skid, Dave Chappelle in whiteface with, let's say, Matt Rife in blackface, and they do a video together. The Hollywood would go fucking ballistic. They wouldn't know what to do.
That'd be funny.
Because you can't say that one is wrong while the other one is okay. They're both right there in your face at the same time. It'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
It'd be hilarious.
All right. We're going to put a pin in there. We're going a little bit further, but I think we had a pretty good chat going, so it happens. Guys, if you are just tuning in and you want to support the show, please consider becoming a member. You can actually, and now that I'm saying that, I just want to quickly shout out to Debbie Peters, our newest member. Appreciate you, Debbie. You can become a member through YouTube for the low price of $2.99 per month. You can also buy us a coffee, which you will see in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. And another way, of course, is keep coming back. Keep throwing those comments in here. As you can see from today's show, we did a lot of audience questions, audience engagement. We're basically just having a conversation with you guys. Even the ones that insult us. And there's been a few of them. That's there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm used to
all
it.
Good.
It's all good.
Yeah. All good, boys and girls. All right, guys. Have a fun and safe weekend, and we will catch you Sunday night or Monday night.
Peace. Sunday night.
Sunday night.